I just completed No Treat November. So, what did that mean? That means I did not have any treats in the month of November. And I made that decision at the end of October. And the reason that I made this decision was, generally speaking, was because I've been on this healing journey of my physical body for the last couple of years, and I'm also in a place where, I'm looking ahead. I'm looking ahead to 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What is it that I want to be able to do? How do I want to live? What do I want to experience? And what is that going to require from my physical body, right? And the reason I'm looking ahead is because in order to do that in 10, 20 years, it's going to be dependent on what I do now, right? It's going to be dependent on obviously my health and also things like strength, right? As an example, strength and flexibility to be able to be functional in the way that I want to be, right? And do the things that I want to do. So that's why in general terms, why I decided to do what it's part of taking care of my health. And then specifically, why did I make it for the month of November? Well, Halloween is October 31st, and I still have kids who trick or treat. And there's lots of candy in the house, and it gets kept in my office of all places. So I know myself to the degree that I know I'm a bit of an all or nothing girl. So if I said, well, I'll just have, one of their treats every now and then, I go ape shit. I go wild, right? Like I go crazy. And so for me, having that rule, so to speak, of no, it was amazing. I never even went near their candy bags. I wasn't drawn to. I didn't want to because I had made this agreement with myself not to. So that's why I chose November. Now, there's one caveat. I did allow myself to have a piece of lemon meringue pie on my birthday because my birthday's in November, and my youngest daughter had made this amazing lemon meringue pie for me. So I did have that. But the rest of it was really, why did I do it? I love to experiment. I don't know if you love to experiment, but I do. And I love to try these, try something on for a month because I wanted to see how I would feel and I wanted to see what I would experience. And each time I do one of these experiments, I learn something more about myself. So there's an even deeper self-awareness coming out the other side. So what I learned about myself, what I really noticed was, and by the way, the no treats, what I mean by that is, no cakes, no cookies, no dessert, no chocolate, anything of that nature. I didn't cut out carbs altogether. That wasn't really what this was about. It was more those things. And so that's what I mean by that. Okay. So what I learned was there were moments in the month of November that I was tired. And there were moments when I was feeling stressed. And I noticed specifically I had gone to my dermatologist to have my 6-month mole check. And there's a little bit of like PTSD for me going to that clinic. Not because the people aren't lovely or anything like that, but I've had, 6 wide excisions done there, meaning 6 surgeries for the melanomas that I've had. And so I notice that when I go in, and I do my best to regulate my nervous system. But when I came out from that appointment, which went really well, I didn't have to have any surgery, which was great. I noticed as I was getting into my car and about to drive home, right away, it was like a default. It was an automatic thing of, where can I pick up a treat? like I need me a treat right now. And so I didn't, because I was like, oh, that's fascinating. And I didn't have a treat at all. But it was, so I noticed that it was when I'm tired and in times of stress, that is when I tend to reach for sugar. And so just having that real deep awareness, it just kind of landed in a different way for me. It was like, oh, wow, now that I know that, now that I know when I'm tired, and now that I know when I'm stressed, that I can actually choose something different. So what I did instead of getting a treat was I came home and and I did some breath work, and I regulated my nervous system, and I into a state of relaxation, and then I was good, and I didn't crave the treat anymore. It was really, really interesting. So I know that there are things that I can do instead of reaching for sugar. I also feel really good in myself. I feel uh, pretty energized. I think my digestive system feels better as well. I did lose some weight. That wasn't really the reason for doing this. It was just a byproduct, I think, of that. Plus, I've started to incorporate more strength work into my exercise routine. So I thought I would just share that. It's like, be curious about yourself. I'm curious about people in general, but I'm also curious about myself, not from a place of fixing, but just like, what makes me tick? What do I reach for, as an example, in times of stress? So be curious about you and be willing to try these different things, right? Experiment with, well, what if I do this for a month? Not to get a particular result, but more just like, what will I experience and what will I learn? So I highly, highly recommend you give it a try. I've learned a lot, and even though tomorrow's December 1st and I could potentially have a treat, I'm not drawn to I'm not going to go hog wild. I'm not going to, be like, oh, I'm back on the treats again. Why? Because of how I feel, and knowing that doesn't actually serve me. And if anyone know that they have inflammation in their body, sugar's not the thing to be having much of. So I'm not going to restrict it completely, but I'm definitely going to be aware, and I'm going to be very choosy about any sugar that I do put in my body. So wanted to share that. I don't know. Hopefully that will serve someone, but yeah, give it a go, right? You could even try that one for a month, of no treats or no sugar or whatever it is. Maybe it's no alcohol for someone. Maybe it's trying a different exercise protocol for a month. Maybe it's, I'm going to get to bed at a certain time every night for a month, right? Really work on your sleep. I mean, all these things, absolutely, you got to find out what works for you. And the only way you're going to know is by trying it, right? Versus just assuming that something will work for you because it's worked for other people. There's no one size fits all. So anyway, give it a whirl. Bye.